Hello guys, welcome to Mothercode Academy. In this video, we are going to learn rules for naming variables. There are basically three rules for naming variable. The Pascal naming system, and then we have the camel casing, and we have the snake casing. Apart from this, we're going to see ASCII code. What are ASCII code and how they are? Let's get started. So let's get started. As you all know, the first thing we start with is hash include the string, and we have using namespace std in our int main. So as I earlier said, we are going to first see the rules of naming a variable. We are going to manipulate our cin, and we are going to see the ASCII code in this video. So let's create a comment. Rules for naming variable. What are the rules for naming a variable? There are many rules of naming a variable, but by the way, we are going to see the most important. The Pascal naming system. The Pascal naming system brings the idea of naming a variable like this. I'm just going to write the example. My salary. Just to create a variable like this, my salary. If you look, my salary is composed of two words. The first one is my, and the second one is salary. So in his rule, the rule is that the first letter of the word should be a capital letter, and each letter of every word in the variable should be written in capital letter. So, for example, if I want to put my annual salary as a variable, it should be like this: my annual salary. However, programmers usually use Pascal naming system to name classes. Yeah, classes. I just said classes. Classes, you're going to understand what a class is if we reach the object-oriented programming, OOP. So for now, we are not up to OOP. Let's keep this one aside. Programmers usually use Pascal naming system to name a class. So you should also follow their style. More especially if you want to start competitive programming, it's good to adhere to all these rules. So this one, I am not going to work with Pascal naming system. And then the next one, let's just put the example. Example, my football win. Let's say a class can be written like this. Then another is the camel casing. The camel casing is the one we are going to be using. In our code, as I earlier said. So it is something like this: my salary. The first letter of the variable is written in small letter. The first letter of the first word is my, so the first letter should be written in small case. Then the remaining should be written in capital. For example, this is my salary is a camel casing. Another one can be my annual salary. So if you look carefully in this variable, my annual salary, the first is small letter, but each beginning of a word is capital letter. So annual is capital, salary, and so on. We're going to be following this rule. And then the last one is snake casing. The snake casing is just something like this. For example, then you put underscore salary. It's just like the Pascal, but it is being connected with an underscore. Or you can have another one like this, my annual salary. So we are going to be working with the camel system in our program. If you are naming a variable name does not start with a special character. This rule is very, very important. It does not start, a variable name cannot start with first score. This is wrong. Or maybe plus increments. This is also wrong. Or maybe something like star. By the way, star is used for pointers. So let me just remove star. We use star for when we want to create a pointer variable. Let's say $sign. This $sign here. So what I just mean in a nutshell is that a variable name does not start with a special character. It does not start with a number. You cannot start writing a variable name with a number, and you cannot also start it with a special character. Another rule for naming a variable is that you cannot give space. Like for example, you said my space salary. No, we don't need a white space in giving our variable's name. This is forbidden in the rule. So you don't do something like this. It should just be written together, my salary. Or if you want to give space, you can use underscore like this, my salary. Yeah, it's normal to connect them with an underscore. It's fine, but it's not fine to just leave it like this. However, you can put a number in the last. For example, maybe you can do something like this, variable 1. This is normal in programming. Variable 2. This is normal. But 2 cannot come here. It cannot be 2 variable. So these are some of the few rules of naming a variable. We are going to work, or we're going to play with our cin in this program. Let's just see how to manipulate cin. We just started using the cin in the previous program, and we're going to see how the cin works, as I earlier said in this video, and some other things. So the first thing we're going to do, let's say cout, enter a number. Cout always say enter first number. So this one, the computer will display. Line 9 will just display to the user enter first number. So but before that, I need to create a variable that is going to hold the first number, the second number. What I'm just going to do here is that I'm just going to create a simple program that is going to compute the average of two numbers. So firstly, we create this one to be floats num1, this is first number, num2, second number. To calculate the average of a number, we need sum, and after sum we need average. we can keep it like this. But I'm going to modify the program after this. So here, we're going to put cin num1. So cin num1 is that we want the computer, whatever the user enter in our cin, the value should be stored in our num1 variable. So we are going to come here, cout again, enter second number, cin num2, cout. Then we are done with cout. I think the computer will ask the user to enter for the first number in line 10, written like this, enter first number, this column here. It will just be blinking, waiting for the user to enter the number. Once the user enter the number in line 11, it will store the number in num1, our variable that is declared in line 9, and then the next one is line 12. Cout, enter second number, then you enter in line 13. To calculate the average of numbers, we need to add the number, as we started something like that in our previous video. So we start with sum equal to. If you look here, I did not put data type for num, num2, sum, and average. The reason for that is because if I just separate them with comma, what I am actually telling the compiler is that both num1, num2, sum, and average should be of floating point number. So their data type is floating point number. For example, if I want this one to be floating point number, this one to be floating point number, and I want this one to be an integer, so I will just put like this. So then I'll put int. So meaning this num1 and num2 are floating point numbers, but sum and average are integers. That is why I end it with semicolon. I terminate it with semicolon. This is just a new line. You can start it somewhere here. It's normal. Then again, but I want them to be floats. So I'm just going to separate with comma. So we need the sum. The sum is num1 plus num2. So what we do here actually is that this is our sum variable. The sum variable is going to store sum1 plus sum2. So let's just create a demo and see how this works. For example, our num1, then the user decides to enter 5. Enter num2, the user decides to enter 2. So in this place, our sum variable is going to store 5 plus 2, which is equal to 7. So our sum variable here is actually holding 7. So our sum variable is holding 7 here. Sum is 7. I hope you understand. Then our average is the same thing as sum divided by 2. Since there are 2 numbers, if there are 3 numbers, you're going to divide by 3. So we put a semicolon. Semicolon terminates. Don't forget, this is the beginner's error that mostly, if you're a beginner in programming, you make this error, more especially programming languages that need semicolon. So don't forget your semicolon here, semicolon, semicolon everywhere after the end of statement. So sum divided by 2. Then let's come here and put cout average equal to. Can you see how I put the equal to? Then space, we come out here and put our average. The average written inside the quotation is written in capital letter. However, the variable average is written in small letter here. So whatever is inside the quotation, the computer has no power over it. But for variables now, if you write this variable in line 15 with small letter, and you come here and mistakenly put capital letter A, you are going to run an error. So it can't work. So write the variable name. If you want the computer to perform an operation for it, in this place, write it the way it is being declared, right from line 9 here. So we just run the program F11. Let's save it. Just hit enter. If I just put 2, first number, 5 as the second number, the average is 3.5. This is very good. This is what we expect to see in this program. 2 plus 5 is 7. 7 divided by 2 is 3.5. This is very good. we can minimize this. I use 1, 2, 3, 4. I use 4 variables in this program. I can remove this sum and manage 3 variables. So we can make the variables to be 3. If I want to make the variable to be 3, I will just come here and comment this line of code. So this line of code is no more useful. Then in this place, I'm going to put something like this. I will put num1 plus num2. All should be divided by 2. I'll just come here and open the bracket here. So we'll just add num1 and num2. We add here and divide in the same line of code. So instead of me to use the sum and just add 2 numbers here, I minimize the code to be num1 plus num2 all in brackets divided by num2. So it will just work as expected to. So num1 is 2 and the other one is 5. Can you see? We have the same result, 3.5. So this is just the first part. And then let's see the next part. Let me just hit on another. Space. In this place now, we're just going to see just the ASCII code. We've discussed on how to use the C in and then the variable's name, and just this one is just how the ASCII code works. The ASCII, which stands for American Standard Code for Information Interchange, is a way in which, so it's just a way in which our computer represents characters in it. How does the computer represent the @ symbol? The @ symbol, the dollar symbol, the star symbol, and many more. So what the computer do is that, let's just see how it works. For example, now if I just put cout int in brackets int a, I want the computer to show me the integer. What number does the computer use to represent as capital letter A? So let's just use the end line here because we're going to write many. I just run this program and just do something like this. Can you see it's 65? So computer use the number 65 to represent capital letter A. Let's copy the same line of code here. Ctrl C and then paste it here. Ctrl V. Let's change this capital letter A to small letter a and see how does the computer represent the small letter A. The computer represents the small letter A as 97. So 97 is small letter A while 65 is capital letter A. Let's see 2 more. This is just called casting. It is called casting in programming. We're going to discuss more on casting in our future programs. Ctrl V again. This one should be the @ symbol here. This one should be the dollar sign. Let's see what the computer used to represent all these ones. So can you see the @ symbol is 64? Wow. And this one is 36, the dollar sign. So now let's try to just create a simple program here, like this. Cout enter 5 letters. So let's declare our letters here. I can get rid of these ones. Sure. C1, C2, C3, C4, and C5 here. So we can come here and put C in C1. Instead of C1 like this, again, you can use C1, C2, C3, C4, and C5 like this is good actually. So enter 5 letters. So we have entered the 5 letters. Then computer should see out your ASCII message. What is our ASCII message? Our ASCII message is, since they are all in character, we want the computer to show us their number representation, which is something like this: int C1. Then we just give a space, int C2. Just give a space, int C3. Just give a space, int C4. Just give a space, and then int C5. Then we end line, since it's the last one. What I just do here is that I want the computer to output your ASCII message is with this quotation. This is a symbol of cout, as I earlier explained this. It is just, we factorize the cout, so we don't have to put the cout again. We factorize it. So this is int and the C1 here. The C1 here, computer will take the first character and find the ASCII code of it. It will separate it with comma. That is why I open the two quotation and I leave it empty with just space. If I type A here, the computer will output A in between. But you leave it empty because we just want a space. So that is how I keep on doing for the remaining ones. If I run this program here, enter 5 letters. Let's say hello, H space E L 1 2 3 and then O. Computer say you have to put space so that tell the computer that I have finished entering the first character. The space is telling the compiler that after the space, the next one is another variable. Since you use the C in in another format, I'll come to that. So the ASCII character of H is 104. The ASCII character of E is 101. The ASCII character of L is 108. The other L is still 108, and O is 111. So this is how ASCII works. I think you guys enjoyed this video. We can call it a day here. If you like this video, consider subscribing to my channel, give this video a thumbs up, and hit the notification icon so that if I just post another video, you will be the first to see. I love you guys.